Yo, what is going on, guys? This is Jack Waggio here today. I'm gonna be coming at you with a very interesting topic today. One's like the usual monthly topic, and the other one is a very interesting topic that should be covered because this card was recently announced, fairly recently, and I feel like I really should be covering my thoughts on this card. But anyways, the topics will be I will be filming a deck profile, giving you guys my list for tailored to this current meta. We're kind of edging towards a ban list, which will hopefully be soon because the meta is very diverse. Actually, like pretty fair. Like it's not fair, but like it's very power creeping to something like DDD because a lot of the decks right now are very overwhelming to something like DDD. Like with a deck like Dino's running around, all they have to do is like really drop and miss. If you like wasted like you know what I'm saying? If you like wasted Crystalling or something, it's not good because like dinos are just like crazy against our decks, so we really need to like watch out for that deck, and it's obviously the most popular deck, right? But after a ban list, this deck will be a lot more relevant, but that is kind of a pattern for this deck to be more so relevant once a ban list hits, it's more relevant because people are kind of scrambling, but once a deck format's more so solidified, it can kind of power creep the deck sometimes. But regardless, I kind of geared it towards the meta, and I think you guys will like this build. Second, the discussion topic here is going to be on the new map card we're getting. So it's not a DD card, but it basically is. It basically says you can search Kepler or Copernicus. So what this card says, the new Piri map or whatever, this map card says you can pay half your life points. Comes out, I'm not sure when it comes out. It should be this sometime like fairly soon, like maybe during the summer, early fall. But this card says you pay half your life points. Search out a card with 0 attack and defense. So we're just going to say Kepler or Copernicus if you really need to. And then you can't activate the card's effects until you've normal summoned it. I think it's just normal. I don't know, but the main thing is until you normal summon it. And so basically this card basically says search half your life points, search Kepler. So a lot of people are like, this card causes a huge debate in like group chats and stuff for this deck because this deck to build its board needs to pay life points. So basically, if you're going that Gilgamesh route, like the combo, you're gonna end off with 2,000 life points if you have that card. A lot of people are not on board with this, but some people are, and that would be including me. I'm very, very on board with this card. The reason being, it's not the card that's fixing all the deck's problems, obviously, but this card is very good in the sense that it just searches Kepler. And in DDD, here's the thing: DDD is very high risk, high reward. You're going all in, like you're trying to make the best board you possibly can while still being able to. The deck naturally can just OTK on the follow up, but your whole point is to build up a board that's too oppressive for your opponent to theoretically out with the amount of cards you're gonna have. So that's kind of the whole point of DDD. You don't care about your life points, and it's the only real way. Nibiru is good against the deck, but the deck, like with something like DDD Rage, can very easily get around. Not very easily, but it does get around Nibiru. Especially the more consistent the deck is, the easier it is for us to play around Nibiru because it all depends on when they Nibiru us, and then if we have more extenders in our hand, it makes it easier for us to at least put something half decent out, right? So, like I said, this deck is very high risk, high reward, and Kepler is your best starter in the deck because you got to think about it. Kepler is a normal summon that's becomes a body on board, so obviously with links, that's a good thing. It's a body on board to use for like something like Cross Sheep, and then it also gives you the card that gives you any material you want any card you want in your deck, like any monster, and then on top of that, having the gate keeps you going for like a grind game kind of thing. Now in the instance we're talking, we're gonna pay half our life points. We're probably not gonna go through much of a grind game, but Kepler is the best starter. I'm saying Kepler is the best starter because it gets you to your gate. Like your gate is like a big part in your grind game, right? It can help you play smart to get through the game with more like to build up your resources, right? So, in my opinion, this map card is really good for the deck. I don't care about paying half my life points to search a Kepler because there are ways you don't have to pay life points in your combo. Like you can go the Calamity route, and Calamity basically just shuts off their turn, right? But go the Calamity route, you won't pay any life points unless you use like a Ragnarok to extend. But if you're even starting with 2,000 life points, you don't care. Like it's not a big deal. Like I said, they're gonna need like a ruler out your board, or just be a Dino player. Like just drop 2 miss or something on you, right? But anyways, like this card is really good. Do not sleep on this card. I feel like as more people play this card, people will realize this is gonna be a big replacement for something like Wear Without. You can't play the two together. from, well, yeah, you really can't play the two together because you're gonna pay 2,000 life points. It's way too risky at that point if you're gonna go that route to pay another 2,000. You'll have no life points, right? Unless you're ending off with a D-Arc on board, but this card's like really good for the deck. It's obviously again not fixing all the deck's problems, but it's a big consistency card. So now we have this Jack in the hand, draw power cards, and like, you know what I mean, stuff like that. This card, like I said, will replace Where Art Thou, and it's a better card than Where Art Thou because Where Art Thou requires you to have a level 1 already on the board, which is, it's, you can normally do that with something like Lamia, but it's, if you ever played Where Art Thou, you realize that it can like be clogging. Like sometimes it just doesn't work in your hand, right? This card doesn't matter. It just searches Kepler. Like that's in my opinion that's better, especially when you compare it with the Jack in the hand because, yeah, that's almost full combo those two together, right? So, yeah, I'm 100% on board with this card. I think you should be too. And like I said, high risk, high reward. Don't care about paying out my life points to get my best combo starter in the deck, right? That's moral of the story. So, anyways, I'll just jump right into the list. When I'm playing, if you guys are wondering where I am, I'm at the girlfriend's cottage. We're here for like a week, so yeah, I thought this would be nice to just film like it's all like from property. So we're just like filming. I'm just filming here because it's nice. So nice change up. So right. So yeah, I'll just get right into the list for June 2021. Let's see. Okay guys, let's dig right into the deck profile, shall we? So, side deck, extra deck, and we're just gonna jump right into the main deck. So we're gonna go standard here, lay out our DDD cards. So here's triple Kepler, your 3-ofs, Lamia, triple Swirl, triple Necro. Standard, do not move these if you're playing this variant anyways. This is base standard. Always preference to play 3 of this. I personally think you should play 3 of this, but you can always play Typhon as well. Typhon's just a good card to extend. If you've already like gotten like if someone's Skullmeister's your Necro, Skullmeister's actually pretty big right now. So if someone Skullmeister's something like Necro Slime, you can just use your Vice Typhon. You can. I used to play Vice Typhon for like more combo heavy variants, just because it's like you can just use it again. Like it's like a second Necro Slime, right? So just extend your combos a lot more and can trigger more effects, right? But yeah, I just personally think 3 is the best just because it's a part of your main combo piece. You want to see all 3 of these because they're all essentially your main combo. It's just theoretically makes sense to play 3 of all those because they are part of your main combo, right? So just want to max out on all those. And then, oh sorry, the last 3 of was triple Ragnarok. This card's great. Great for going second, great for going first. You can utilize both his effects going first. Great extender through Nibiru if you have him just sitting in your hand as well. This card has like just so many good effects, man. I think you should definitely play this at 3. Especially if I think you should just play that card at 3. Don't cut it less. 1-ofs, 1, 2, 3. So we're playing 1 Apocalypse for the combo. Decent extender as well. 1 Copernicus. You only need 1 of this. I've been playing 1 of it for a while. Works perfectly fine. I also only have room for 1 of it. Right now, you're just focusing on getting your level 1s. That's what this deck best does. This card obviously can do that by sending him to the graveyard, but as him as a 1-of, I find actually really works now with the way you play the deck. I feel like this kind of has standardized for me anyways. This is standardized for sure, just playing the 1 Copernicus. And 1 Rage because this card helps you play through Nibiru. If you already have your pieces, you can play through Nibiru. This card is an easy OTK card, right? So, and turns off like, this card just like, all the effects this card has is like just great. There goes my Field Center card. So yeah, that's it for our DDD monster counts. So yeah, 3 1-ofs and then everything else maxed out. And then we're for our hand traps, because hand traps are kind of good right now. We're playing, this is the only hand trap we're playing, only hand trap we have room for, it's Gamma. So I have played Gamma once in the past. It's a really good card in this deck. And Gamma is very good offensive, for sure, very good offensive. It's very high impact right now. Hits a lot of things like important steps in the Drytron combo. Can hit dinos depending on where you're hitting them. Like it basically hits every deck, right? Like Gamma hits any combo deck, even sometimes back row decks. If they have a monster to search out their card, you can just Gamma. It can really screw them up sometimes. And defensively, like when you're going first, just the whole point of playing this card really is to just it's a pseudo call by, right? So you don't always get it off a lot. Sometimes players are a bit smart, but not as many people are expecting Gamma, I find right now. So Gamma's just a good card. It comes up a lot, right? Like a lot of times you can pressure them to the point where you can just go Gamma. Stops Droll because people are maining decking Droll. And another really good thing to point out with this is that it's a level 2. So basically another reason why I'm playing this is because since it's being a level 2 tuner, I can summon this off Hulk. If I banish, if I don't have another Calamity access, I can summon this and then I can go for a Calamity combo because it's a level 2 tuner. And it works just really well, right? So Gamma, I think, is the best hand trap to play in this deck if you're going to play any hand trap. Like I said, it's very good for a lot of utility purposes in this deck, defensively and for sure offensively as well, right? Can literally end turn sometimes offensively. So that's it for the monster count, and we're moving on to the spells, contracts, triple gate, double swamp king. You can always play this at 2 if you want. I just play it at 1 because it's just a good extender. I don't really want to see it clog in my hand ever. But you can play 2 if you want, because if you're playing desires, which I am. Maxing out on desires and 3 allure. This is all the draw power cards I'm playing. Triple desires and triple allure. I see a lot of people just saying they want to play 2 and stuff. That's completely fine. I used to play this when desires first came out. I used to play this without desires, and I actually went to my first regional, and I almost went top 16 at my first regional with this deck. And then basically what happened? Big highlight here. I was at top tables at the London regionals. And basically what happened was I was playing as Zoo players when Zoo came back in, so I wasn't playing Desires, but anyways. Game 3 had him under Vanity's lock and Vanity's Fiend lock and everything. And sorry, I'm just bringing this story up because I didn't have Desires, like I said, but anyways, pretty funny because this guy opened his 1-up Sphere mode and I decided to summon a Genghis as my 3rd monster to beat the Zoo player down quicker. And he had his 1 Sphere mode, and then he ended up taking my top 16 spots, so that kind of sucked. And I ended up bubbling because of that, so yeah, I'll never ever forget that. And the whole regional was just like, oh, I was like, oh my god, we just lost. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to lay those cards back out here, and just going to lay out all the consistency cards. So there's the 3 desires, the 3 allure, triple jack in the hand, and triple copies of Where Thou. So here we're playing 12 consistency cards. So this deck is very consistent. You have your draw cards. I didn't go over, I think you should play 3 if you're going to play desires, but you can play 2 if you want. It's all up to you if you don't like drawing multiples of it, because it does happen. But for rational purposes, and we want to see desires. We want to see a +1 essentially, and this is a really good card to just start out with 6 cards, right? Or 7, right? So that's why I played it at 3, just because theoretically you play it at 3, you'll see it most games, and I want to see this card a lot. So yeah, this card's good. You're gonna see the 1 copy more than you're gonna see 2, right? So that's kind of why I just max out 3. If you see more than 1, it's okay. Sometimes it can screw you up, but yeah. And then these 2 together, Where If Thou and Jack in the hand, are like almost full combo, so that's why we play them as well. This card's like a prosperity deck, so we're basically playing 3 desires and 3 prosperity. But essentially you're not locked, right? You can activate this and this in 1 turn, and this and that if you want to, right? So yeah, that's consistency cards. 12 consistency cards, so this deck is actually very consistent. Doesn't really brick often. And then our last one was 1 for 1 and Called By. We're playing Called By, so we basically have 4 Called Bys in this deck. But I feel like you should not skip out on Called By. It's probably common sense at this point because Called By is just an amazing card when you're going first. Or if you still have it saved, you can just set this card. This card's an insane trap. Like if you Called By a Miscellaneous Source, that's game. Like they can't do anything once you Called By a Miscellaneous Source. Like they can, but they're going to have to go through your triple negate board and your pops, right? Then they're vulnerable, right? So Call By is definitely worth playing. And the 1 for 1, because it summons our Kepler from deck, or a Lamia, or a Necro, whichever piece we're missing, right? Really good combo starter card. So we're going to move on to the extra deck. So the extra deck is going to be actually pretty interesting this time around. So we're playing the standard fusion package. I'm still not on D-Arc because I just don't have room for a D-Arc. D-Arc's a pretty good extender, but if you're playing level 2 tuners, you don't need the D-Arc to just get out that extra, because you can just summon a Gamma from deck. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm not playing Ghost because of Gamma. That just kind of takes a spot. 1 level 7 Synchro Alexander, standard for combos. And then we're going back to this package here, the 3 boss monsters. I was off Savage Dragon for a little bit, playing Chaos Ruler. For this build, I personally would just rather play the Savage Dragon, Omni Negate, and then I'm usually aiming to get this board out with the Gilgamesh in this build, so I geared my deck more towards that because I feel like it's better for the meta. For example, let's say we're playing against Tri Brigade Zoo. if you make Calamity, they can still make a 4 material Zeus on you, right? So that's not the greatest in the sense. So having this as a backup option is really good, right? So yeah, and with your Satellite Warrior pops, right? So yeah, I've always kind of like liked these three being the main boss monsters too. That's just it really depends on how you want it, but this has always been my favorite way to play it. But you'll see, I've also mixed got the mix in here going as well. So anyways, formula package, Satellite, and we're playing the Calamity. So we didn't skip out on the Calamity. So formula synchron, Satellite, and so this is like usually your standard, and then this is also your other standard formula, right? But since we're playing Gamma, so basically we're gonna go into this. The only time I'm really aiming to go into this is if I'm playing against something like Dino, because Dino, our main 3 boss monsters, don't do too much. If Dino opens good enough, they're just gonna run you over because Miscellaneous Source is a card, and all our cards kind of activate in main phase, right? We can't do much in battle phase. So yeah, that's kind of a threat to us. So basically, if I'm playing against a Dino player, I'll just summon King Calamity because I don't have to deal with like their stupid Miscellaneous Source or whatever. I can just summon Calamity. They can't activate cards or effects, right? Like that's basically, this card just locks them out of their turn pretty much, and then I don't have to deal with Dino shenanigans, right? And I always have access to the card because I'm playing Gamma. Unless I banish all my Gammas, which never actually happens, I can always just use Needle Fiber or Halka Fiber to just summon out Gamma, and then I can just go into this thing with using the Gamma, the formula, and the Borlode Savage Dragon will make that, which is pretty nuts. So yeah, that's why I'm playing him. If you don't want to do that, I don't have room for the Boral Sword. Boral Sword is a great card in this deck for the follow-up. This card is just an easy OTK in this deck, or go in second. If you Nibiru them, Borlode's like an easy OTK for the follow-up as well. But just for the meta, just because like I said, Dino, and then if you banish certain cards, you can just go. You have the option to go into this powerhouse too. Like it's just, I find it really works well that way when you have that option. So yeah, that's exactly why I'm playing that card in this build. For the links, the only cards we have room for: Cross Sheep, Hulk, Gilgamesh, very standard in this deck. Combo, or just extenders in general. Backup plays, Hulk's just amazing in this deck. And the last 2 Xyz. So yeah, we're playing Kali Yuga and we're playing Zeus. Kali Yuga I find really good right now because it can really put pressure on the board because if they don't do anything, you're 2 level 8. So you go into this and you're shutting off their whole board. Clear their back row. For example, you clear their the Tri Brigade, you clear their Revolt. And then what you can do after is you'll still have this in a material. So you can just go into Zeus and you have a 2 material Zeus. So you have a Zeus, right? This is the most powerful way to go into a Zeus because you turn off all their effects on board and you can swipe their back row. Then they gotta go against a Zeus. So this is like really good in my opinion, and it's just a really easy out to pretty much anything, right? So I decided to give this deck like the most versatility I could towards anything I could possibly go against. This also gets rid of back row, right? So our deck doesn't really struggle too much. It has a good matchup against pretty much everything. So yeah, that's the extra kind of speaks for that as well, right? So yeah, so 40 card main deck and then obviously 15 card extra deck. So that was a bit of a spice for the worked on the extra deck for a little bit and it works out really well. So yeah. Anyways, so bit tilted on the side deck. It really depends what your locals is, but I have a lot of Dino and Trizu running around my locals. Like that's really all the decks, and Invo Turbo. So Monkey Flip. So yeah, that's a lot of what's going on in my locals. So not too much Invo, but it is there. So anyways, only 2 back row removal cards. Orthros is a searchable card, so that's good. It can just get rid of any problem card that we can search this out. And then Feather Dust is just a blowout card. That's all I have room for in this. Depends how you want to build it, but for this, the way I built my side decks, all I have room for. And for problem combo decks going second for games 2 and 3, you have the Nibiru and the Dark Ruler. It's good for something like Dragon Link or Trizu, stuff like that. You don't want to go. Your deck does not want to get up against an Appaloosa, that's for sure. So yeah. And then we're playing this. I'm just gonna lay all these out. So we're playing the Sanctum package with the Scythe, and then we're playing Triple Lancia. So you could play 2 Scythe because you're playing Desires, and 2 Scythe isn't bad, but I just rather not. I'm just gonna risk playing it at 1 because Sanctum can also turbo the Lancia if I really need it, and Lancia is really good against a lot of decks right now, so that's why I'm playing 3 of it. You could have Droll in here as well if you really want to. Like I said, depends on what your locals, but this is geared towards what's playing at my locals right now, and I'll fix it up as depending on what tournaments I'm going into, right? Because I play in a couple other tournaments. So yeah, but this is for like my locals. The next tournament I'll be going in is my next locals. So yeah, this is what it's gonna be geared towards. Uh, like I said, Sanctum Turbo out Lancey if you really want to against Dinos, and Scythe. If you go Sanctum into a Scythe against any combo deck, you're basically just gonna win the game, especially if you have your board established. So yeah, that's just a blowout card really. So yeah, that's my side extra, and then the main, and then I hope you guys like it. I took a bit of work into this deck. Like I said, I find the way I have the deck built is the best way to play against what's out there in the meta right now. Droll's running around people's main decks as well, so Gamma's a good card to have. And I really took some time into this extra deck and looked it over and figured this is the best, most versatile way to actually play it right now. Like I said, we play against dinos. Our boss monster board doesn't really have a good chance against a dino player, but if we go the calamity route, we actually have a really good chance. So yeah. Hope you guys like the deck profile, and I will see you in the next video.